Hello, traders. It's Eve from MarketWizards.com, reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose. Haven't done a video in a while. I think today I'll take a moment, just review the opening range breakout. And if you care to look over my shoulder, welcome. Start with a blank slate. I like black and white. I also like colors, learning to read colors without getting too emotional. But Tony Turner advocated learning with black and white. It will help reduce the emotionalism of all the bright colors. And I tend to agree. I think it's a great way to go. Let's take a look at a chart that Pax Trader 777 has put out, free software. I recommend you get it, study it, and if you have questions, go directly to the source. Spend a few bucks and study with Pax. Great trader and obviously knows what he's doing, and I love his work. So rather than get a secondhand version, learn from the master himself would be my advice. So I've taken the liberty of using some of his ideas and put them on different color charts and so on. This one has just got the plain vanilla background and it really simple to see without all the lines and spaghetti on it. And I've got a chart similar to this that I put on a TV right near me, and incredibly helpful just to look at that and see what you want to see. All right, and here is Pax's original work with his lines and targets. I've taken the liberty to add a few studies such as moving averages and AVWAP. I also am always have this in my field of vision, which is our price ladder, which dictates to me the context of the day. So our 67, 78 area was chosen, 77 and a half, chosen as our bias pivot, and above it, we're looking long side, and below it, obviously short side to the next box. And admittedly, at that 77 area, you're going to get gyrations. It's like a snow fence where it'll move back and forth. But after a little while, you will start to see the pattern emerge, and you will understand which pivot you are now going to, either the one just below or the one just above. And you don't need to worry about the ones above it until you pass through one. Then you're obviously looking at the next ideas. Very helpful chart. And again, big thanks to Pax Trader 777. Great software, and I certainly appreciate the way he tries to help the little guy try to learn a little bit more about this business. And here's a look at obviously the NQ. Same ideas. He's got this all pre-packaged, ready to go. I've added the moving averages because I like them to help give me a little bit more information on a chart. This is readable for me. Sometimes I get too much spaghetti on them, and if so, I'll come right back to a basic chart. But this is easy enough for me, especially when they're not all, together. When they're all grouped together, you don't have enough information for a larger type trade, but the pattern I look for is like an umbrella trade where this larger time frame, this long range line is above us, and then the blue, and then the red, and then the green. And this is the umbrella trade when we get that formation. Very classic. And we did have Friday, we had quite a divergence between the E-mini S&P and the NQ. Anyways, you'll see if you have settings that you like, you'll see they'll work probably for most products. And this certainly was a lights out trade. I don't trade NQ right now, but if you were, certainly very helpful pattern in looking at targets that would come up step by step. And for those of you still with me, let's take a look at a little bit different chart. This is the same principle of an opening range breakout, but I've taken the liberty of trying to keep a lot of the other studies off of this chart, and I just want to know the bigger levels, and I want to understand the angel and demon relationship with the day's range. And this range, I can start it at Globex if I want, but for the purpose of this review, I'm using just the start at 9:30 for the RTH hours. First bar, 3-minute bar. This is our first angel right here. And the angel is born to fly, and obviously the demon is trying to take the angel down. And so the first 3 minutes is important to me, not just the first 30 seconds. And then I want to see if we take out the 30-second and the 3 minute, then the bias is certainly up. If we run into some news events and we get some pullbacks, we already see our first target based on this structure at that 88 90 area. We come all the way back. We break, and you can see the little doji bar here, and then we break, get right back into the range, but we never take out 71 and a half. This holds. And then we get a little bounce, and this is sometimes you get news, which we had on Friday, and then we get take out again, and this re-triggers the upside on the 30-second and the 3 minute, and away we go, and we take out. We stumble right here just a little bit, trying to understand is this a true breaker or not, and then we get the leverage up into the 11 o'clock time frame. Profits get taken. We come back. Well, we cannot really make a lot of headway backwards. We're back in here, 10 to 12 points, typical rotation, and then we get one more leg up. And at lunchtime, we can see what normally you'd expect the contra. The demon gets formed at 98. Had a target up here at the 05s. We had a target at 1 1/4, doesn't make it, fails, and then we get this bar right here that traps all of these traders. We get this push down. We come right back into the opening range. We come back with a profit-taking swing. We cannot get up above 90 area, which is about 10 points below the high. And then we come back to make the W, and the W gets broken. We come down through that 71 and a half, 72, what I call the dangerous pivot. And we come down and we go all the way back down. Typically an equal measure move. You can see the equal measure move up here would have been the O1s. Down here, this 54 and a half. Our target was 56.75 to 57 area. Anything below that, good luck. And we could have broken. I'd said 52 support. Let's see if it holds. It turns out it does. We make the little W, then we come up and we start all over again with a bounce in the afternoon session from 2 o'clock to the end of the day. And that bounce takes us all the way back up, but we cannot break that original 80 area, stalls, comes back, we bounce, and now we're over and under that 72 pivot, and finally into the close, boom. So a very important chart for me to read it without all the spaghetti on it. And I've got some charts, probably too much on, but this one I like very much. All right, same opening range breakout, but a little bit larger study. This is a 12-minute box using 3-minute bars. And I can set this anyway I want, 1 minute bars, 30-second bars, 5 minute, whatever. But I want to capture the first 12 minutes. And I'm using that as my deeper study to confirm the 30-second, the 3 minute, and then obviously, do we take out and stay above or not this range? And we can see with this study, we get a phase transition up here to that target 1868.005, just miss. We come down and then we read this the same way we did before. We broke that dangerous pivot at 72, come down to the target, right? 57, you can see it right there. And we hold, and this is retesting last week's high, right? The prior week, 56.75. So it's not just about these ideas, but it's about the emotions of the traders behind these lines. So we know continuation, we need to stay above that. And if we do, we're still above last week's high. So that's why this was very important to me, this level this week. And we see we stall AVWAP, we stall in the middle in here, the kind of things we look for. And then we dribble down into the close. These traders all trapped up here and couldn't get out and had to pay out. All right, let's look at something that's got a little bit more to it. Too much for probably a number of you. But if you follow the sequence that we showed before, this is using a 3-minute chart, but I've taken the liberty of taking Pax's work and then try to do that in a little bit smaller increments, still using the major thesis that he's got, but breaking them down into smaller levels. And as a day trader, I find it's easier a lot of times to hit and run and try to understand these smaller swings inside the larger swings. So using the same idea for our demon up here and using this was our first angel right here. Run into, I put a payday line right here. This is Pax's payday, right? 4 points. 4 points. So that's right on my chart, and I can see it, and I know exactly where that is. And great trader. He's really showed some techniques that I like, and I think he's offered traders tremendous value for nothing if you go get his software. So I've coded this myself and taken the liberty to put my own colors in and other studies, but the same principles that apply. And don't forget, I use that bigger picture of his on a TV screen right next to me, so I can easily see the broader picture without all the minutia on it. And this is helpful because I'm looking at things like these moving averages. You got to break the green, and you got to break the red, and you got to break the blue. We get this kick off of the blue coming in right into lunch stall, and then we take out all of these, bang, and then we get back into on a 3-minute chart, our longer term average right here, and you can see the market does not know what to do. At the end of the day, chug, 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 but we cannot take out that opening range breakout in 30 seconds. This stalls right here, payday, never takes this out again. And this was 75.75, and we double top in here in the afternoon, late afternoon, and then sinker right into obviously payday line, first target line right here. After that, second target line, never quite get to. So very helpful. And again, kudos. I never try to steal anybody's information. I always give credit where credit is due. Angel and Demons, I learned from Kevin Haggerty, great trader with Fidelity. And you just keep building your own system and try to, add to your arsenal. So a big thanks to guys like Pax for sharing what he does. All right, and here's one last twist. For those of you who like to trade the end of the day rotations, I've taken this same setup, shortened up the details just a little bit on it, but still same basic principles. And I'm actually taking that 30-second value coming in at I end at 45 over here, give it a little break in here, and then this was going to set new values for that 30-second range at the end of the day. And then this will give me the ideas, and I'm teaching this to a few traders who want to learn something, and this will give them, especially aggressive traders who want to trade the end of day trade, same principle, above going this way, payday line. Obviously, come down and here's your midpoint. Come down through here. Here's your payday line right here. And then this would be your next one at 59 and a quarter. Doesn't quite get there. And that would be your second payday. So this works, same basic principle, but just using the ideas again of moving averages to help show which direction it tends to be going in, and the idea of what do you want to do for if you want to trade for your last 10 minutes or so. And you can see that's the bulk of it right up until your 4 o'clock Eastern time frame. So little something extra for you if you like to trade aggressively. All right, this is E for MarketWizards.com. I hope this is helpful. And thanks to all you great traders out there that interact with me and share your ideas and like and repost my stuff. It's great to have some teamwork, and I thank you immensely for that. Be well. Have a great day.